Hey guys, what's up? It's Gunnar, RS and Dragon Science. Sorry about the lapse in videos, but I've just been busy, real life college stuff. Luckily, Jagex gave me a lot to talk about in the time it's going to take me to get Aurascape edited. I've filmed it already, so hopefully that should be out either this week or early next week. But in the meantime, there's a lot of things that I would like to talk about and maybe offer some insight on. The first thing is the fight kiln, which it was very fun, I gotta admit, but it was kind of a disappointment in how easy it was. Granted, I was using Torva Divine, etc., and flasks, everything that high levels have access to, which, by the way, Dreadnips are probably one of the quintessential kiln equipment requirements. They definitely speed up Jads a lot. You can basically just leave on Prot Range and Gano and just sit there with Dreadnips. I mean, I didn't even prayer switch on any of the Jads. I just sat there in Torva with Prot Mage on. But anyways, that is my point, is that with high enough gear, it's a cakewalk, essentially. I finished with 96 brew doses left, and it took me 55 minutes to do the kiln. They advertised it as something that would be basically impossible without 90 stats, and as of me recording this, at least one person has gotten it with 1 defense. So it just goes to show how Jagex thinks things are high level sometimes, and they may be for the average player, but we want things that take skill. Which leads me to my next point, which is in the wake of Effigy-scape and the downturn in drops, which hasn't fully been analyzed yet. Something that comes to my mind as soon as I read that is that this may not be a very bad thing because of a post that I saw earlier this month, and that's high intensity skilling. Okay, now I haven't heard anybody talk about this, but I was pretty much blown away when I read the post. Basically, in the past year or so, Jagex has removed a lot of things from the game, like being able to fletch at 2.2 mil an hour with Addy bolts, and replaced it with make all things. Initially, that was met with a lot of backlash from people like me, who think that when you play faster, you should get more XP than people who want to be lazy and AFK. I mean, I like to AFK as much as the next person, but there should be a reward for skilling harder. And Jagex has recently said that they're going to make skills more rewarding the harder you do through either a mini game or an activity, something that they're planning. Now I'll link the mod's description in chat, either a screenshot or I'll just type it up. But it's very exciting. What it means is that we may be able to do a mini game. Trouble brewing, something like that comes into my mind, whereas you can have different people do different tasks to get faster XP. Maybe you can get like 60k fishing along with 60k cooking, fletching, fire making an hour. Now, I mean, that probably isn't going to be the best, but they may surprise us. In the year of ultraless rune crafting, anything is really possible in terms of what they're going to bring out. As I said, I don't know how much effigies have been nerfed. I'm glad I took as much advantage of effigies as I did. I don't really feel any animosity towards Jagex, because training skills such as rune crafting was relegated to just camping monsters, and that's really not what it's supposed to be about in terms of training. You should train a skill to get the fastest XP rate possible. I mean, rune crafting was basically just made into monster killing, and that's not the way it's supposed to be, so I really don't blame them for that. However, the way they did it was wrong, and I think we're seeing a lot of the negative repercussions of the way they did it, and that's the surplus of people trying to get assists, and that's a huge issue. And whether they up the assist limit, which would be cool, or they change the way effigies work, which they're not really known to change what they do after they've implemented it. Something has to be done in order to make that more of an equality. Otherwise, it's going to only make sense for people who aren't maxed to train agility, rune crafting, fishing, etc. first, as to open the effigies when they train Slayer, which I don't think a lot of people want to do. And the point of effigies was they shouldn't really have to do that. They shouldn't have to train these non-combat skills first if they want to train combat, which is basically what they have to do now. So basically that's my feelings on Effigy-scape, and hopefully some things will change. High intensity skilling, which is what I'm coining it for now, I guess, will hopefully change maximum XP rates for some of the slower skills. Ultraless rune crafting is supposed to change RC, but I mean, we just have to wait and see. Kiln, bit of a disappointment. Very fun though, looked incredible. Took one try though. I think there should have been more of a challenge for somebody who doesn't PVM, such as myself. But yeah, I mean, high intensity skilling could make as much of an impact as auras in the near future. I'm thinking that the best ways to train combat could be Dominion Tower if they remove all the cutscenes. It could be as much as 200k attack, defense, strength, XP an hour, one of those. Or, you know, the standard armored zombies, dark beasts, etc. Hopefully next Tuesday we'll see how Dominion Tower is altered. If they take out the cutscenes, if they make XP lamps better, if they make all the other rewards that you can trade in for XP, which I was kind of pissed when I read that because I just destroyed like 4,300 scorpion meat, but that's whatever. I'm sure Castle Wars is excited to get like 200 million attack, defense, or strength instantly, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, there's a lot of exciting things on the horizon, and hopefully we'll be able to make use of those updates as much as possible. The last thing I want to mention is the summoning, the 12k charms an hour processing method. Now, at first glance, it looks incredible, which it is pretty incredible in terms of experience per hour. But one thing that has to be considered is cost for most people, and due to the new method being 80 times more expensive at processing Crimsons, Steel Titans that is, I don't think a lot of people are going to be using it, and if they do use it, then obviously they're going to break some records. I don't really think Jagex needs to fix it because as is, summoning is only like 60k an hour on average, and the processing time is negligible anyways. So whether they nerf it or not doesn't really matter. It's just this new way is so much more expensive than using a Kyatt. So, I mean, if you want to use it and spend like 16 GP per XP using Crimsons, go right ahead. But right now, using Crims to make Steel Titans is like 0.2 GP per XP using the standard Kyatt method. So, I mean, it really depends on how much money you have and what you want to do. If you want to use golds on it, that's probably best if you're actually going to use golds. But, I mean, we'll see what the future has to hold if they nerf that or not. Anyways, so that's my piece for this week. And Aurascape should be out shortly. I'm really trying to get it edited and make it so it's coherent in, you know, making it applicable to every aura. The main problem is things like the sure-footed aura, which currently have no use whatsoever. But in the future, they might, which is what I want to discuss. Things like an agility course that you fail a lot, maybe making that aura potentially very useful in terms of gaining maximum agility XP. So, I mean, that will be out soon, and I know you guys have been waiting for that, so I'll try to get it done as quick as possible. Anyways, happy scaping, guys. See you later.